Life is full of moments where your heart feels heavy, your plans collapse, and nothing seems to go right. In those moments, it's easy to question, to worry, to feel lost. But remember this cue: the one who created your heart knows how to heal it. The one who wrote your story knows how to rewrite your pain into purpose. Allah never abandons you. When you are patient, warmth should be. When you trust Him, even the pieces you thought broken beyond repair will come together in ways you could never imagine. Allah will fix it for you. But only if you hand it to Him completely. When life slows down, when the doors you have been knocking on for months or years remain closed, it is natural for the heart to grow restless. You start wondering why things are not happening the way you planned, why the world seems to move forward while you remain stuck. But this is the moment where faith is tested, and trust in Allah's timing becomes your shield. Every delay, every pause, every moment of waiting is not a punishment. It is preparation. Allah knows the exact moment that is best for your blessing to arrive. He is never late, He is never early. His timing is perfect because He sees the bigger picture that we cannot see. Imagine a seed buried deep in the soil. To the outside world, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, life is preparing to burst forth. That is what Allah is doing with your life when you feel delayed. He is arranging, protecting, and shaping your destiny in ways you cannot comprehend. Trusting His timing means letting go of the constant anxiety of, when will it happen? And embracing the calm of, Allah knows best. It means understanding what you want might not be good for you right now. And what you think is a delay is actually protection. How many times in your life did you cry for something you thought you needed, only to realize later that Allah saved you from harm by withholding it? How many times did your heart break because of a rejection, and months later you discovered that rejection was the greatest blessing in disguise? This is the beauty of Allah's timing. He is Al-Hakim, the most wise, and His wisdom is flawless. When we force things to happen before their time, we often ruin what could have been perfect. But when we wait with patience, trusting Him fully, the outcome is sweeter than we imagined. In your moments of waiting, instead of complaining, fill your heart with dhikr. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what is Allah teaching me? Because the delay is never empty. It is full of lessons, growth, and spiritual polishing. Your patience during this time is like watering that seed under the soil. One day, without warning, the doors will open, the opportunity will arrive, the burden will lift, and you will look back and say, Subhanallah, it came at the perfect time. Trusting Allah's timing transforms the waiting room of life from a prison into a sanctuary. It allows you to breathe, to release control, and to know that your life is unfolding exactly as it should. When the heart truly surrenders to this belief, peace enters even before the solution arrives. Because you are no longer chasing the outcome, you are walking with the one who controls it all. Your pain feels heavy right now, and the nights feel longer than the days. Sometimes it feels as if no one can truly understand the storm inside your heart, and the world keeps moving as if nothing has happened. But remember, the pain you are feeling is not permanent. No matter how endless it seems, it is only a visitor, and visitors eventually leave. Your patience, however, is not temporary. Every tear you hold back, every sigh you release to Allah instead of the world, every moment you choose faith over despair, it all becomes an eternal reward in His sight. A pain is part of this world because this world was never meant to be Jannah. In this life, we will experience loss, betrayal, disappointment, and heartbreak, but none of it lasts forever. Even the heaviest storm eventually clears to reveal a sky that is brighter than before. Patience is not just about waiting silently. It is an active form of worship. It is your heart telling Allah, I trust you even in this darkness. I know you see me, and I know you are with me. Every second of patience is a seed planted in your hereafter. Warmth should be when you hold self back from complaining, when you refuse to give up hope. Angels are recording it as an act of worship. Imagine meeting Allah one day and seeing mountains of reward simply because you endured what you thought was breaking you. That is how much Allah values patience. He knows the struggle behind your smile, the battles you fight in private, and the tears that fall on your prayer mat when no one is watching. Your pain is also a purifier. It scrapes away arrogance, it softens the heart, and it pulls you closer to the one who never leaves. Many people find Allah not in moments of comfort, but in moments of hardship. When life is easy, the heart becomes distracted, but when pain enters, the heart remembers where true peace lies. This is why your pain has purpose. It is not meaningless. It is shaping you, strengthening you, and elevating your rank in the sight of Allah. Patience is the bridge takes you from the depth of sorrow to the light of relief. Without patience, pain becomes heavier. With patience, it transforms into a source of reward and inner strength. Think about the times in your life when you thought you couldn't go on, yet here you are, still breathing, still standing. That is a sign that Allah has always been carrying you even when you felt you couldn't carry yourself. The pain you feel today will one day be a story you tell, a reminder of how Allah never abandoned you. The beauty of patience is that it allows you to collect treasures in the hereafter, while walking through the storms of this life. Every heartbeat of endurance is like a silent prayer rising to the heavens, and not a single moment of it is lost with Allah. Every test that comes your way is not a sign that Allah has forgotten you. It is a sign that He loves you enough to purify you, and bring you closer to Him. Life without tests would make the heart careless, arrogant, and distant from the one who created it. Tests are like gentle knocks from Allah, reminding us that this world is temporary, that our hearts should not attach to it too deeply, and that true peace only comes from Him. When difficulties appear, they are invitations to turn back to your Lord, to strengthen your faith, and to discover the depths of your patience and resilience. Tests come in many forms. Sometimes they arrive as the loss of something you love, other times as delays, disappointments, or the feeling of being misunderstood and alone. Each test is uniquely designed for your heart, crafted by Allah with wisdom and mercy. What seems unbearable to you is perfectly measured by the one who knows your strength better than you know yourself. He does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. And the fact that you are in this test is proof that He believes in your ability to endure and rise through it. The pain you feel during a test is not punishment, it is purification. It cleanses your heart from pride, softens it with humility, and pushes you into sincere conversations with Allah that you might never have had without that hardship. Tests also reveal the truth of your faith. It is easy to say, "I trust Allah," when life is smooth, but true faith shines when the path is dark and uncertain. Every moment of patience, every tear that falls in sujood, every "Ya Allah, I need you," whispered in the night is a testimony of your belief. Through these tests, Allah elevates your rank, forgives your sins, and writes for you rewards that you cannot even imagine. Imagine meeting Allah on the day of judgment, and seeing that the very pain you cried over became the reason for your highest reward. B. There is also a hidden mercy in tests because they detach you from what is temporary and guide you to what is eternal. When you lose something in this world, it is often because Allah wants to give you something far better, either in this life or the next. A closed door is not the end of your story. It is a divine redirection to a better path that your limited vision cannot yet see. When life feels heavy, remind yourself that tests are not signs of abandonment, they are signs of love. Allah is drawing you closer, teaching you reliance, and reminding you that Jannah is the place where hearts finally rest forever. Every trial is a ladder, and with every step of patience and faith, you are climbing closer to Him. Letting go of control is one of the most liberating acts a believer can experience because control is an illusion we chase in this temporary world. We plan, we calculate, we hold on tightly to our expectations, but deep down, we know that life rarely unfolds according to our script. The more we try to force everything to go our way, the more frustrated and anxious we become. True peace begins the moment we release this illusion and hand our affairs over to Allah, trusting that His plan is always greater than anything we can imagine. Surrendering to Allah does not mean giving up or being passive. It means acknowledging that He is the one in control, and what He chooses for us is ultimately better than what we choose for ourselves. When you let go of control, you are not losing power. You are gaining freedom. You no longer live with the heavy burden of, "What if? And why me?" Because you realize that everything is unfolding according to divine wisdom. The delays, the closed doors, the sudden turns in your life are all carefully written to protect you, teach you, and guide you closer to the path meant for you. Sometimes Allah will remove something from your life that you were desperate to hold on to. And in that moment, it feels like loss. But years later, you look back and see that it was never loss, it was mercy. When you surrender to Allah, You allow that mercia to reach you sooner instead of resisting it with worry and fear. Releasing control also changes the way your heart handles pain. Instead of constantly fighting reality or blaming yourself for things beyond your power, you begin to see the hand of Allah in every moment. You start noticing that every hardship carries a lesson, every delay carries protection, and every disappointment carries redirection. The storms of life still come, but instead of being swept away by panic, you become anchored in the calm of faith. You learn to say, I do not know why this is happening, but I know my Rabb does, and that is enough for me. This surrender also invites more barakah into your life, because your heart is no longer distracted by resistance and worry. A heart that trusts Allah fully is open to His guidance and His blessings. Opportunities begin to flow in ways you never planned, because you are no longer clinging to one fixed idea of how your life must look. You begin to taste the sweetness of tawakkul, the deep inner peace that comes from knowing that your job is to try with sincerity, and the outcome is entirely in the hands of the one who never makes mistakes. When you finally release the grip of control, life stops feeling like an endless battle and starts feeling like a journey guided by the most loving and perfect Creator, and every step becomes lighter, because you are walking with Him, instead of struggling against what He has already decreed. Dua and patience are the strongest tools a believer can hold when life feels heavy and uncertain. When the world turns its back on you, when solutions seem out of reach, and when your heart is weighed down by the unseen struggles you carry, raising your hands to the sky is a declaration that you still believe in the power of the one who controls everything. Dia is not simply asking for what you want, it is an act of surrender, an intimate conversation with Allah where your heart whispers, I cannot do this on my own, and I know you are the only one who can help me. Every tear that falls in sujood, every quiet prayer in the middle of the night, every plea that escapes your trembling lips is heard by the Lord who never turns away from His servants. Patience is the companion of dua, because while dua connects you to Allah's mercy, patience carries you through the waiting. Many people make dua but lose hope when they do not see immediate results, forgetting that every dua is answered in the way Allah knows is best. Sometimes He gives you exactly what you ask for, sometimes He delays it to a moment that will be more beneficial, and sometimes He replaces it with something better that your limited heart could not imagine. Patience is trusting that whatever the outcome, Allah has already written it with love and wisdom. It is knowing that your dua is never wasted, that your whispers never vanish into silence, and that your waiting is a form of worship that raises your rank in ways you cannot yet see. When you combine dua and patience, your heart finds strength even in the darkest chapters of life. Instead of falling into despair, you find purpose in your struggle, because every moment of waiting is another moment of earning reward. Your dua transforms your pain into connection with your Creator, and your patience transforms your delay into preparation for something greater. Many of the prophets went through years of hardship, yet their dua and patience were their lifelines. Prophet Ayub Iyas called upon Allah in the depth of his illness, and his patience became a story of hope for generations. Prophet Yaqub Iyas wept for years missing his son, yet he said, I only complain of my suffering and my grief to Allah. And his patience was a testimony of unshakable faith. Every hardship in your life is an invitation to hold on to these two gifts. Instead of allowing fear to take over, you let dua pour your heart out to the one who never ignores you. Instead of letting impatience turn into bitterness, you embrace the stillness of sabr, knowing that Allah is working in ways you cannot yet see. Every, Ya Allah, you utter is a seed planted in the unseen, should be, and your patience is the water that nurtures it until the day Allah allows it to bloom into a blessing that will make you forget the heaviness of the weight. The plan of Allah is a masterpiece that only reveals its beauty to those who trust Him completely. Life often places us in situations that make no sense to our human eyes. We plan, we dream, we imagine the way our life should unfold, and then suddenly, everything changes. A door we were certain would open shuts without warning. A person we relied on walks away. A path we thought was ours disappears into nothingness. In that moment, the heart feels heavy, and the mind begins to question why this is happening. But if you pause and reflect, you will realize that every twist, every delay, and every redirection is part of a divine plan that is far greater than your limited vision can comprehend. Allah's plan is perfect because He knows what lies ahead, He knows what is hidden, and He knows the unseen dangers and blessings that we cannot even imagine. When a believer embraces the reality of Allah's plan, life begins to feel lighter. You stop chasing after control that was never yours to begin with. You stop measuring your worth based on the outcomes you see in front of you. Instead, you begin to live with the calm certainty that what is meant for you will always reach you, and what is not meant for you will never harm you. This is not just a comforting thought, it is a spiritual truth that frees your soul from the chains of worry and fear. How many times in your life have you begged for something, convinced that it was good for you, only to look back later and thank Allah that He did not give it to you? How many times did your heart break because a plan failed, only for you to realize months or years later that the failure was actually a form of protection, saving you from a bigger harm you could not see at the time? Allah's plan works in ways that often feel slow to our impatient hearts. We live in a world that glorifies instant results, but divine timing is not bound by human schedules. When you do not receive what you want immediately, it is easy to feel forgotten. But the truth is, the delay is not denial, the delay is preparation. Allah is arranging circumstances, protecting you from unseen harm, or waiting for the exact moment when the blessing will have the greatest impact on your life. Every closed door is either a shield from harm or a redirection towards something better. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, and every unexpected turn is a brushstroke in the painting of your destiny, and the artist knows exactly what he is creating. Trusting Allah's plan also means understanding that what you see as loss is often a form of gain in disguise. Sometimes Allah takes something from your life not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants to clear space for something better. He removes temporary comforts to give you eternal ones. He allows certain people to leave so He can draw you closer to Himself. This life is temporary, and everything in it is borrowed. When Allah takes something away, it is never without wisdom. Even in the moments when your heart feels shattered, there is divine mercy at work. The pain you feel is shaping you, refining you, and building a stronger version of yourself that could not exist without that experience. Think about the stories of the prophets, for they are the clearest reflections of how Allah's plan unfolds. Prophet Yusuf, a.s. was thrown into a well by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for a crime he did not commit. To the human eye, his life seemed filled with misfortune. But step by step, Allah's plan was unfolding perfectly. Every hardship was a bridge to the next stage of his journey, and eventually, he rose to a position of honor and power that allowed him to save his people. Prophet Musa, a.s. was cast into the river as a baby, raised in the palace of the very tyrant who sought to destroy him, and then fled into exile. Each of these events was a thread in the grand design of Allah, preparing him for the mission of leading his people to freedom. And of course, our beloved Prophet Muhammad faced rejection, loss, exile, and relentless opposition, yet every trial was part of the divine blueprint that spread the light of Islam to the world. Their stories teach us that even in the moments that feel like chaos, Allah's plan is moving with precision and purpose. When you begin to trust in this unseen plan, your heart finds a peace that nothing in this world can take away. You no longer feel the need to understand every detail of why things happen the way they do. You accept that your perspective is limited, and that the one who created the heavens and the earth has a view of your life that is infinitely wider than your own. This trust does not eliminate pain, but it transforms it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is Allah teaching me through this?" Instead of resisting the flow of life, you begin to move with it, knowing that every step is guided. Living with this trust also changes the way you handle success and failure. When things go your way, you no longer become arrogant or overconfident, because you know that every blessing is a gift from Allah, not a product of your control. When things fall apart, you no longer collapse into despair, because you know that failure in this world does not define your worth in the eyes of Allah. Both ease and hardship become tests, and your role is simply to remain patient, grateful, and steadfast in your faith. There is also a sweetness that comes from surrendering to Allah's plan, a quiet strength that carries you through even the darkest nights. You realize that every unanswered prayer is actually answered in the best way, even if the answer is, "Not yet," or, "I have something better for you." You realize that your life is not a series of random events, but a carefully orchestrated journey that is leading you exactly where you are meant to be. And as your heart grows in this trust, you begin to see signs of His mercy everywhere. A small delay that used to frustrate you now feels like protection. A disappointment that once broke you now feels like a redirection. A moment of loneliness now feels like an invitation to draw closer to the one who is always near. The more you trust in Allah's plan, the less you are shaken by the uncertainties of life. You stop chasing after what was never written for you, and start nurturing what is meant for your soul. You become like a traveler who trusts the map, even if the road twists and turns, because you know the one who drew the map cannot make mistakes. This trust allows you to breathe through the storms, to walk with calm in the chaos, and to find light even in the darkness. It teaches you to detach from the fleeting attachments of this world, and to anchor your heart to the one who never changes. Even the moments of heartbreak, confusion, and unanswered questions become part of the beauty of life, when viewed through the lens of divine trust. You realize that nothing was ever truly lost if it brought you closer to Allah. No tear was ever wasted if it was shed in remembrance of Him. No delay was ever meaningless if it strengthened your faith. Allah's plan is always better than the one you had for yourself, because He knows what you do not know. He sees the path that leads to your ultimate happiness, not just the temporary comfort you may crave in the moment. Trusting in His plan does not mean life will be free of struggle, but it means you will never face struggle alone. It means that every challenge is an opportunity, every pain is a lesson, and every turn is a step toward a destination written by the most merciful. It means living with the quiet certainty that no matter what happens, you are exactly where you are meant to be in this chapter of your story, and the author of your story writes only with wisdom and love,